Hello everyone, welcome back to Imtiyaz Medical Academy. My name is Dr. Imtiyaz. I'm one of the instructors in the academy. Today, we will discuss super important topic for your medical exams, for your AKT, for your USMLE, for your PLAB, for your medical school exams, if you have a written exam. There is a good chance you may have a question about pedigree, the genetic pedigree. You will have a picture about generations, which one is affected, and then they will ask you what is the condition, what is the mode of inheritance. Is it autosomal dominant, recessive, X-linked recessive, mitochondrial, sometimes X-linked dominant, although X-linked dominant is not very commonly asked in the exam because sometimes can be confusing. So what we'll focus on, we'll focus on these four conditions, how you can spot on in a very basic way. Before we go ahead, we should be familiarized ourselves and we should know how each symbol and shape in the exam means from the pedigree. So we'll go through this. And you should, after watching this today video and then practicing on few examples, you should make that question 100% correct in your exam. Very easy, guaranteed 1 mark, although some of your colleagues still struggle or may struggle to find out and spot what is the mode of inheritance. After what I will tell you today, it should be very easy for you, and you should be able to do it correctly in your exam. So let's start with the first thing. So the first thing, I told you few shapes I need you to be familiar with. So I will go through what is important for you. So the most important here, what the square means, what the circle means. Square means male. Circle means female. Super important. If you couldn't know that, you will not be able to do it. So square represented by representing male. So male is represented by a square and female is represented by a circle. If it is shaded, that means they are affected. If it is shaded, the shape, the square is completely shaded, the circle is completely shaded, that means they are affected. They have the phenotypical appearance of the condition. Sometimes, if it is half shaded, sometimes you can get it half shaded. Half shaded means they are carrier. Okay, but they are not affected. And sometimes even carriers will be not shaded at all. Why? Because carriers are phenotypically normal. They are just carrier of the gene. They are phenotypically normal, but genotypically they are not normal. They have one faulty gene or one faulty chromosome and so on. Okay, so take home message here now: square male, circle female, shaded completely affected, half shaded or not shaded. It could not shaded, could be either normal or carrier. Half shaded, carrier. Then you will find this line connecting both of them. This line means they got married. So what is important here? As I told you, square and circle. What is the second most important in this slide here? If female and male got married, okay, then you will have here that line is the line of descent. This is, for example, this is the first generation, then this is the second generation. Okay, so male and female got married, then they had two boys. Sometimes the twins, sometimes none, but the most important here, so line of descent and then the generation next. Okay, next generation. So don't forget this. As I told you, sometimes half shaded means carrier. How you can apply this in the exam? So let's go to the following. So as I told you, you have here four different conditions. There are very stepwise approach you need to familiarize yourself. If you put it in your mind, you know how females and males looks like, you should be able to answer the question by following the following steps. Look at each generation. Is each generation is affected or no? Not all the generation, but is each generation has one affected at least individual or no? If you have affected individual or individuals in each generation, males and females can be affected autosomal dominant. And look at if males can transmit the condition or no. Why? Because this is a differentiating point between autosomal dominant and mitochondrial inheritance. So what you need to look for? Each generation has affected individuals. Males can transmit the condition. Both males and females can be affected. If yes, it is autosomal dominant. Don't forget this. Okay. If you look at each generation, some generations don't have affected individuals. Some generations have. Both males and females are affected. Autosomal recessive. Easy. So you check each generation. If some generations don't have affected, completely shaded picture, completely shaded circle or square, and it can affect both males and females, it is autosomal recessive. What about X-linked recessive? X-linked recessive, you will have only males are affected, only males or the squares are shaded, and males cannot transmit the condition. X-linked recessive. So if you find that pattern, only males are affected, and males cannot transmit the condition to sons. They cannot transmit the condition to sons, and even they cannot transmit the condition to daughter. Daughters will be carrier, not affected. That means daughter of affected male will not be shaded completely, either half shaded or normal. Take home message: X-linked recessive, males are only shaded. Males are only shaded. Mitochondrial inheritance. Mitochondrial inheritance. Look at each generation. Yes, each generation is affected. Males and females are affected. However, and put under however million lines. Males will never transmit the condition to the kids. Males will not transmit the condition to the kids. Only females can transmit the condition. Why? In a very basic genetic information, if you remember this. By the way, I have a genetic background because I was working in cancer biology, cancer research in Japan. And we had many, experiments about genetic modification, manipulations, stem cell transplantation, and so on. We don't need any of this. It's super easy. Sperms don't have cytoplasm at all. And the mitochondria, that's why it is mitochondrial inheritance. Mitochondria is only in the cytoplasm. Each cytoplasm will have mitochondria. Mitochondria has a different DNA from the nuclear DNA. So the mitochondria will have DNA. That DNA, only females can transmit it. Why? Because the female ovum has nucleus surrounded by cytoplasm, which has mitochondria. That means only females give mitochondria to the kids. Males, because they don't have cytoplasm in the sperms, so they will not transmit mitochondrial inheritance. So only females, because females' ovum has cytoplasm, which has mitochondrial DNA, will transmit the condition. Let's apply this in few shapes, and once you see what we are talking about, it will stick in your mind, and you will be able to answer the question correctly in your exam. Let's find here. Look, each generation is affected. Let's see. First generation is affected, has some affected individuals. Second generation has some affected individuals. And the third generation has some affected individuals. Males and females are affected. Yes, males and females can be affected. Males can transmit the condition. Affected males here, yes, can transmit the condition. It is autosomal dominant. It is autosomal dominant. Next. It is an example. Let's give you an example here. You are a GP, and then you have a female patient came to you, 20 years old. She had a sudden collapse after doing activity or exercise, or sudden collapse at work. And you started to take a family history from her. Any family history of any sudden collapse or sudden death at young age, she tells you, my mom. As you can see here, my mom passed away at young age, sudden death. And even my mom's brother, my uncle, from my mom's side, also died at very young age, unknown cause. So that means here it is affecting this generation, this lady, that your patient, she may have the condition. Look at the generation, the previous one. Is it affected? Yes. You have affected individuals here. Her mom and her uncle, males and females, are affected. Look further. What about grandparents? Yes. One of my grandparents, the male one, my grandfather, died at young age, also sudden death. So what you have here, first and the second generations are affected, and the males can pass it. And this patient came with symptoms of sudden collapse as well. That means all generations are affected, males can transmit it, autosomal dominant. Very, very easy. It is applied example on the previous pedigree. Next. What about this? Spot diagnosis. Spot diagnosis. Males only affected. If you can see here, males only affected, okay, and males cannot transmit the condition, it is X-linked recessive. Sometimes you have skip generations as well in X-linked. What is here? This Mary here, or grandmother, she was a carrier for X-linked recessive condition. That's why she gave the faulty X chromosome to the boy, and he became affected. And then Sandra is a carrier. Sandra gave X chromosome, the faulty one, to both boys. Boys are affected. And here, Carol, likely to be a carrier or normal. 50% chance that Carol will be a carrier or normal. 50% chance that the sons will be affected or carrier as well. Sorry, son will be affected or normal. Either sons will be affected or normal. Daughter will be either normal or carrier. So without even hustling yourself and going into more details about skip generations, if you can see here, males are only affected and males cannot transmit the condition, it is X-linked recessive. Keep it in your mind. Next, super important. Is every generation here has affected individuals? Yes. Here, one generation, second and third. And males and females can be affected. So far, it may look like it is autosomal dominant. But I told you the third step, look for, can males transmit the condition or not? If males cannot transmit the condition and all generations can be affected, okay, and females only transmit, males cannot transmit, think about mitochondria. Why? Males cannot transmit the mitochondrial DNA because the sperms don't have mitochondria, don't have cytoplasm. So here, males and females can be affected. Each generation, yes, can be affected, but only females can transmit the condition, and not only this, not only this. If one female is affected, 100% chance all her kids will be affected. Why? She will transmit the cytoplasm and including the mitochondrial DNA to all her kids. Okay? Don't forget. So female, even as you can see here, this female is affected, all her kids was affected. This female is affected, all her kids will be affected. Those sons here, males here, are affected, but they cannot transmit the condition at all. At all. Why? Sperms don't have mitochondria. This female is affected, she transmitted the condition to her female daughter. Okay? Don't forget. Don't forget spot diagnosis. Spot diagnosis. Let's find here. Let's find here. Males are only affected? Yes, males are only affected. Think about what? Think about X-linked recessive. X-linked recessive. Males are only affected. Think about X-linked recessive. As even here, you know, a handwritten example of X-linked recessive. If you have the female carrier, okay, mother is a carrier, father is normal, and they got married, and she's a carrier for the X-linked recessive gene. So one X-linked, the faulty one, she has 50% chance that she will have affected sons, and 50% chance will have normal sons. Regarding females, 50% chance females will be carrier, 50% chance females will be normal. This is X-linked recessive. Let's see here. Each generation is affected? Nope. Some skip generations. The first generation here is skip. By the way, autosomal recessive, they may have not only even first generation skip. They may have more than one generation skip generation. They may have more than one generation not affected. But let's look here. So not all generations are affected. Males and females can be affected, and the males can transmit the condition. Affected male transmits the condition here. Okay, so it is autosomal recessive. Autosomal recessive. Okay. Here, another example as well to show you autosomal dominant. As you can see here, all generations, every generation will have affected individuals, can affect males and females, and the males can pass it. Autosomal recessive, as you can see here, I told you, can come as in the carrier status, which is half shaded or even normal. Okay, so skip generations. For example, here you have the first and the third generations are skipped, they don't have disease, but here they have males can be affected. Let's see here, only males are affected, only males are affected. Think about X-linked recessive, X-linked recessive. Okay, males are only affected. That's all. I hope that made it very clear to you.